The hero upgrade journey is one of the best features that we have received in recent years in Clash of Clans. And even though it does give us the opportunity to get tons of epic equipment for absolutely free, it does kind of throw a wrench at all the hero upgrade guides that we've had up until this point. But don't worry, because in this video, I'm going to be fixing all of that. I'm going to be breaking down the key aspects to the hero upgrade journey, talking about how the hero journey has affected our hero upgrade path, and then discuss the best ways to upgrade your heroes to not only get the most out of progression, but also to get some free epics and rewards along the way. To begin, let's go ahead and discuss why the hero upgrade journey matters so much and how it complicates things for us. Before this update, hero upgrades gave you virtually nothing. This is because you could easily just temporarily get max level heroes with hero potions and be completely fine for war and ranked mode. The hero upgrades themselves actually gave you nothing in return other than really incremental benefits on your hero. However, there was another thing that really made hero upgrades poor to invest into. And that is that if you invested into heroes, you sacrificed a lot of upgrade time as a result. That time could have been used to get to higher town hall levels faster, which meant better use out of your magic items, which is a key factor in progression. Because of this, I've recommended for years for players to go ahead and skip hero upgrades until the maximum town hall level. And despite years of evidence and having the proof to back it up, the hero journey kind of flips that on its head. Now I'm gonna be honest with you, most of the rewards from the hero journey are good, but they aren't good enough to undo the previous hero upgrade meta. The ability to get free epic equipment though does change a lot. As a spender, getting epic equipment isn't all that hard because you can get a few every single medal event and even buy them for gems if needed. For free-to-play players, catching up was nearly an impossible mechanic the way it was done before, as you could only get one epic equipment during medal events and there was almost always a new one released, which means you were always behind, or you had to cough up to 1500 gems to get a single piece of epic equipment. So because of the fact that you can get free epic equipment now and save 1500 gems, it's no longer viable to completely skip heroes forever. But how much should you upgrade heroes versus how much should you skip them to get the maximum progression? To determine that, we have to see how much investment each one of these equipment takes in terms of time. So let's go ahead and do that next. Let's get into the nitty-gritty of how valuable it is to actually get a single piece of epic equipment from the hero journey. Let's consider a single piece of epic equipment worth 1500 gems, because for free-to-play players that is the reality, that is how much you have to pay. From my short analysis previously, we found out that you can get up to 193 gems per week if you did absolutely everything you could. But to account for variations and the fact that not everybody's a machine and won't be able to do all of these things, let's say you're averaging something around 175 gems per week. That means it'll take you about 8.57 weeks or 60 days completely to go ahead and save up for a piece of epic equipment. And since we get new epic equipment and medal events almost every 2 months, you guys could see why this was a problem before. The next step is to go ahead and consider how long it'll take us to get each piece of epic equipment from the hero journey. This chart right here shows the specific levels of the hero journey where you get pieces of equipment, which hero you get equipment for, and which level they come pre-leveled at. As you guys can see, we're gonna get our first epic at level 20, but our last one at level 452. And what you guys need to remember about this is just straight levels. It does not take into account how long those upgrades are. So you might be wondering at this point, okay, what is the minimum amount of time that I do need to invest to go ahead and get each one of these rewards from the hero journey? There's two ways to look at this because of the way the hero journey was made. The first is the classical way, and that is for a specific town hall level, your hero hall is maxed to that town hall's level, and then you upgrade your heroes that are available to you at that town hall level. Using this philosophy, you get this chart right here. This chart details the same things that we saw in the last chart, but it also tells you the hero hall requirements, the minimum time that is required to get the next piece of equipment, and the total amount of cumulative time ever since you started upgrading your heroes in the first place. What you guys can see is that the first piece of epic epic equipment you can get in literally just under 9 days, but the next few, and especially those last ones, take a very long time to complete. This is going to be really important when we talk about the meta and talk about the ways we want to upgrade our heroes to make the most out of this journey. However, there is another method of upgrading heroes that I do want to consider and do the math for before we get into hero recommendations. That secondary method is by getting to higher town hall levels first and then upgrading your heroes. The reason this would make a difference theoretically is because each hero upgrade counts for the same amount of progress, so if you unlock all of your heroes and then do the shorter levels first, that should allow you to make quicker progress. Thus, I'm calling this the late path, since you start later on, and you can take a look at this chart right here, which gives you the details and the amount of time that it would take for each step in this late path. You'll notice that the amount of time at the end of the chart is the same from Town Hall 15 on, because at that point you have unlocked all the heroes, and that's the same as the standard or the late path. Now obviously these two charts are pretty confusing to look at, especially since they're so big, so let's go ahead and simplify this real quickly. Thus we have this chart right here, and this chart compares the amount of time that you would have from the standard path or the intended path, the amount of time that it would take from the late path that I just talked about, and the amount of days saved if you ended up taking the late path. What you can see is that you guys can go ahead and save a few days and even a few months in some cases if you go ahead and take that late path. But once again, in the end, the minimum amount of time is going to be the same once you unlock all of the heroes. So now we have the information of how long it takes to get each piece of equipment and how much it'll cost in terms of gems and in time. With this, let's go ahead and start to put together some hero upgrade recommendations for both free-to-play players and spenders. Now for my free-to-play players, I'm going to recommend a hybrid approach for a few reasons. First off, I think you should definitely take the late path when it comes to approaching the hero journey, and this for a few reasons. Like we've discussed before, if you delay upgrading heroes until you have all of the heroes unlocked, you're going to save a lot of time when it comes to unlocking those pieces of equipment in the journey. Second off, an important thing to consider is the fact that there's only a limited amount of equipment that is available from the hero journey at the time of making this video. The king has 3 different nodes, for example, and 4 different pieces of equipment to choose from. Thus, if you have one of those pieces of equipment, you'll still be able to get the 3 remaining ones. The reason I'm mentioning this is that as a free-to-play player, you're likely not going to have a ton of epics already from the equipment nodes, and as a result, you are okay with just delaying getting those pieces of epic equipment. But once you unlock all of the heroes, should you complete all the levels from that moment on? No, it's not that simple. The dilemma for free-to-play players is they need to get the epic equipment because they don't have that many already, but at the same time, one of the biggest barriers to progression is good magic item usage. And as you've heard me say many times on this channel, the absolute best way to get the optimal magic item usage is to be at the maximum town hall level. So there is a balance between the two, and I think there is a few ways to go ahead and address this. The ideal way, and the way that I would recommend, is to still go all the way up to town hall 18 without upgrading your heroes, and then start upgrading from there. This lets you take advantage of that late path, but also have the ability to get good use out of your magic items. The downside to this is you might be giving up your ability to get some of these epic equipment earlier on, and if by any reason you get these equipment, you might be missing out on some of them. The other way to go about it is to go ahead and unlock your Dragon Duke at Town Hall 15 and then start your upgrades then. The downside to this is that you're gonna get to Town Hall 18 a lot slower, and that means bad use out of your magic items. Now the method you pick really depends on how many pieces of epic equipment you already have, especially for your king and queen. The first 2 levels and the amount of time that it takes to go ahead and get these first 2 pieces of epic equipment from the hero journey is actually a lot shorter than even saving up for gems manually. If you already have some of the epics for the king and the queen and you want to ensure that you get something really good from those 2 epic equipment briefcases, I would go for it at Town Hall 15. However, if you don't have any epic equipment, you're a returning player, you're a casual player, you just restarted playing again, then I would just honestly wait till Town Hall 18, because that way you get the best of both worlds. If you're in a situation where you've already got a lot of these epic equipment, even as a free-to-play player, then you're not going to be able to game the system as much to get much more. And if you're in that scenario, I would honestly just recommend going all the way up to Town Hall 18 anyways, because for you, getting better magic item value faster is going to be more important than making making up for the few epics that you don't have. Because look guys, at the end of the day, the hero upgrade journey is very long and it's going to take you a long time to get all of the epics, so you shouldn't completely ruin your account progression and magic item usage to get the most out of it. However, a warning for my free-to-play players: if you are going to go ahead and upgrade your heroes, make sure to use that late path. Make sure to unlock all of those heroes first and then start upgrading them to get to those nodes a lot faster. The other way is a lot slower. Now with those recommendations out of the way for free-to-play players, let's go ahead and talk about how spenders can go ahead and maximize their hero upgrade journey. For the first time, I think I have a little bit of differing recommendations for both free-to-play players and spenders when it comes to hero upgrades. When it comes to spending in the game, we obviously want to address the biggest limiting factor in the game right now, and that's easily equipment and specifically ores for most players. Thus, I think if you're limited on purchases for Clash of Clans in a month, I think the Gold Pass and the Event Pass are two really good purchases to make. But you still have a different dilemma as a spender, and that dilemma is that if you end up getting the Gold Pass, you're going to be wasting those magic items that you're getting every single month if you don't have optimum value out of them. On the other hand, if you do end up getting the Event Pass, sure, you can go ahead and buy more equipment, but you're going to be filling up those available slots and throwing away a lot of those pre-leveled free equipment that you could get. So how do you make sense of all of this and how do you move forward? Unfortunately, we do have to stratify things into how much money you're actually spending in the game. If you're a player who's only buying the Gold Pass, which is probably common for a lot of players, I think the highest priority for you is getting to those higher town hall levels so you can get optimum value out of your magic items that you're getting every single month. And when you do get to that higher town hall level, you can go ahead and start working on those heroes and start to chip away a little bit at some of those free epic equipment. This is the best blend for players who only buy the Gold Pass and is the only one I would recommend. If on the other hand you're buying the Event Pass, you're a lot less likely to have equipment from the available pool in general, and you'll get to those higher levels slower because you don't have the Gold Pass and its reductions. The only way to really get the Event Pass and make the most out of it is to actually avoid buying equipment and get ores instead during this event so that you can maximize the amount of available equipment that you'll get for free from the hero journey. Obviously, if you're gonna buy both of these, then I would highly recommend that you get to Town Hall 18 before doing all of this, but still make sure to avoid getting those equipment that are in the available pool from the Event Pass. Now, when it comes to players who are buying offers in the shop, whether that's for books or for ores, I think for you guys, it's like really important to be at Town Hall 18, because if you're buying books, you really need to be there. In fact, I wouldn't buy books unless you're at Town Hall 18. Quick side note, if you do buy anything, do use code BD in the shop. It does help us out quite a bit. But back to the main point, for almost every type of spender in the game, I would highly recommend that you take the late path, go to Town Hall 18 first, and if you're buying the Event Pass, avoid buying the available equipment that is already in the equipment pool so that you get those from the hero journey. Having the ability to get optimal magic item use while working on your heroes is the best priority for any type of player that can afford to do it. Now, when it comes to buying the Event Pass, there are some additional tricks that you can use to go ahead and make the most out of your hero upgrade selections. So let's go ahead and talk about that real quick. Now I have some additional tips when it comes to different parts of the game to go ahead and make the most out of the hero journey. First off, if there is an event like Summer Jam or Hammer Jam going on, you really just want to be upgrading your heroes at that point, regardless of any advice that I've given in this video. This is because there are only a handful of things that can actually change the 1,565 total building days that is going to take for you to go ahead and upgrade all of your heroes. And among those are builder potions as well as these types of events. Those time reductions are super valuable, especially when you stack them with potions, as you guys already know, so please make the most out of them. Next, the order that you get your pieces of epic equipment are in order from release, which means that it goes from left to right on this chart. Now, knowing that, you can actually go ahead and manipulate your selections a little bit to make the most out of them. For example, let's say that in the current medal event, the giant gauntlet is available and you really want the spiky ball for your barbarian king. You can can get the giant gauntlet from the current medal event, and that would make the hero node equipment that you get the spiky ball, and this would allow you to get the spiky ball this month instead of having to wait another 2 months and see if it's in the next medal event. Another tip for medal events is to avoid buying equipment that is in the availability pool. The equipment nodes only give equipment from the chart, and I know some of these equipment are key in strategies, but if you can get equipment that is not in the chart, or you can get newer equipment, you can ensure that the hero journey equipment is there when the time comes. I generally make guides for all of these medal events, so I'll definitely be keeping this point in mind when I make recommendations on what to get. Next, a lot of players have been mentioning that they have not been getting their rewards or their equipment for each specific hero node. This is a really awful bug, but I did see some Reddit posts about people who were able to get support tickets and maybe get their equipment that way. I also generally heard that the support tickets aren't always helpful. What I do know is that Supercell is aware of this bug. Hopefully we get a fix for it very soon, and as soon as I know, I will communicate that to you guys. Finally, my last tip is to consider the hero journey an honest to genuine journey. It's not something that's going to be completed very quickly, and it's likely something that you're going to be spending a lot of time on, so don't feel the need to rush it all that much. Now with that, you should have everything you need to completely make the most out of your hero upgrades and the journey while doing so. However, if you don't make the most out of events like Summer Jam, you're simply not going to get those rewards as fast as your enemies. That's why you need to watch this video right here, where I break down the best ways to maximize Summer Jam for both free-to-play players and spenders.